Hey everybody, welcome to Board Game Heaven. In this episode, I'm going to do an unboxing of these expansions for Myth, especially the Journeyman chapter in the Myth universe. It has been published by Megacon Games, and recently Megacon has sold their IP to the Myth universe to Ulisses Spiele, and they have been gracious enough to fulfill the Kickstarter for the Journeyman chapter, and this has been going out to backers recently. It's been a long road, but I finally received some of these. They're still working on the miniature stretch goals, but we have some stretch goals here. It's mostly paperwork. We have the collector's edition rule book, which also has some artwork in it, and the extra modules that I backed on Kickstarter, as well as a couple of extra tiles and some colored dice. So let's quickly open up these boxes and see what's inside. So let's have a look at the tile supplement first. So there were several tile supplements. There was one during the first Myth campaign, and this is the tile supplement from the Journeyman campaign. And you could also get the first supplement again, but I already had that. So this is the new one, and it has a nice tile here with an entrance to a pub or a tavern with some tables outside and some kegs. They're all double-sided, so inside here we have what seems to be a cell, and with the usual icons here that we know from the game. Next, there is this this encampment. Basically, there's a market outside. Here's a water mill and this tent with some carpets lying on the ground. So, and on the other side, we have more dungeon tiles, basically. So, you know, inside the darkness like that with a wall here. Then there's more of the outside market. There's several booths here that are selling some weapons, some armor, next to a house there. And on the other side, there's more dungeon. So you can just combine those however you want to, which is nice. Then we have another outside area here. There's a house there, there's a well, another little booth there. And here is more dungeon scenery. So there's a crossing here, basically. So yeah, I'll just put that to the side for now so we can look at this one. Here is a bridge and some kind of machine pumping water. And there's a forge there with an anvil. So there it says as well. So that's the forge. And inside there's more dungeon area, and here is a training area there with a statue, and on the other side more dungeon area. So the cool thing is you can, you know, combine these to build this big dungeon. I don't know exactly how they fit. Let's just have a look if I can make something out of this. So I don't think it really matters how you do it, although some seem to line up a bit if you place them correctly. Well, in any case, this is an example of what you can do with these dungeon tiles. And on the other side, there is actually something going on there, so I'm gonna have to puzzle that together somehow. Because I do remember there was a certain way to put these, and you'd have a big scenario. So let me just try and put that together and show that to you. So there you go. It was actually quite easy because there's A, B, C, D, E, F in the corner of these tiles. So there you go. You have the river and the bridge, the tavern with the water mill, and here's the house over here with the well and the forge and the training area and the market. And it all fits together nicely in this scene where you can rest, you know, in between your adventures and gear up and sell stuff. So that's pretty cool. And the other side, as you've seen, is a dungeon. So let's check out something else. So next up we have this dice bag with the old Megacon logo on it still. So a dice bag, nice and felt. And it comes with these colored dice. So usually these were just black on white. And now we have all these symbols in color. So let's take a closer look at those. So as you can see, we have this red symbol, the orange candle, the black darkness symbol, this purple symbol, the green symbol, and finally this blue symbol. I currently forgot what all the names were. I used to know them, but if you'll excuse me, the fans will know what they are. But, you know, they used to be all black, and now they each have their own color, which I think is very handy. So I got a set of those, and there's, let's see, 10 of those that you could get during the Kickstarter. So that's the dice. Let's move on to the collector's edition book. The collector's edition rulebook, which looks really, really nice. Let me just take off the plastic. As you can see, there's gold here. Wow. So let me just be very careful doing that. Okay. Come on. There we go. So that looks absolutely stunning. There's a bit of cardboard on the back. So I'll just take that off. Oh, might that be? Nope. I thought that might have been a piece of art, but it isn't. But let me get everything off the book there. Wow, that just, let me tell you, this feels so amazing. This really feels like some kind of faux leather, and this is embossed. I don't know if you can really see. Yeah, you can see it right there. See, that is so cool. And on the back also, this darkness logo in the lighter and the darker brown that is bound with, and the gold on the edge of the pages. Look at that, that's amazing. So let's have a look inside, shall we? So, Myth. And there we go. So we've got some cool artwork with a table of contents. We've got a map of the lands of Myth, which is pretty cool. So some text, which is cool if you want to know more about the world, about the whole story. So there's plenty of that with some cool artwork, you know, like we know from the Shores of Canis in this case. There's the rules there, so we get an updated version of the rules. Some of these pages are a bit sticky though. So, reading this book. So to set up everything, the game round, the 2.0 rules, it says there, which were a lot better than the first ones, which were fairly hard to understand, or at least, you know, they were hard to get through. And this is more organized, shall we say. So the realm, how those icons on the tiles work, and how you populate the realm tiles, how traps work, how items work. Serendipity, that's what that symbol was. And so we've got quests, story quests, the Slaughterfield, if you picked up the Slaughterfield expansion, which is kind of an arena mode. Here's the Tavern Brawl mode with the tiles from the first Kickstarter, where you could get a whole tavern. That was pretty cool as well. So there's how the game ends, single player rules, and then there's these modules, with which uses some of the cards that were in the base game. You had these quests basically that you could follow, these chained quests. And so here it says the novice and the journeyman heroes, which hopefully, if Ulisses continues with Myth, with which I think they will be followed by, I think one of them is master, and then I don't know what's next then. So we get novice, journeyman, something, master. So that's interesting to see where that is heading. So we got a different journeyman hero classes. There's the apprentice, who becomes, oh boy, that's not that good, who can become a weaver or an elementalist. Then there's the archer, who can evolve into, boy, all of these are sticking together, into the ranger or the duelists. Well, there's several of those then. Kind of miffed that these are so sticky. Yeah, so there's a spriggan, who can become a warden. Oh, come on. So, well, the hunter, that's pretty cool too. Nice artwork. I mean, all of this artwork that I hadn't seen before. The slayer. There's the swashbuckler. And the outsider. So this is really, damaging the artwork. I don't know if that's something that's on top that it can wipe off. Some kind of sticky glue. The pirate and the forsaken. The monk, the pupil. I'm just going to skip a couple of these. So there's the monsters here. So at some point here it starts with the bestiary. So we got all these different types of monsters. The insects, the tribals, the unholy, etc. Which was pretty cool. And so we got the insects, which have the crawlers and the stalkers. And this spider mini boss. And this big boss. And then there's the greenskins, basically the grubbers and the muckers. There's an elder here, and there's a boss. You got the undead, and the rats, the vermin, the rodents. Then there's these one-eyed cyclops things, the elementals, and then these Egyptian-themed creatures, and the alligators from the Blackwall Warrens. There's the slimes, and then these clockwork guys with Professor Rusty Sprocket, and these mermen, which I really like. I really love these. It's very, very cool looking. I love the colors. I love, the crab hands and everything. All kinds of sea creatures kind of merged into one. I really love that. And there's the thieves. And these fireborn creatures. Lovely. And then there's these dragonkin. So we got the Razor Fiend and these knights. The Dragon Singer and the Urlok. So that's pretty cool. And then we got some infected as well. So basically like zombies really. But there's also rats that were infected. And yeah, whatever this is, some kind of knight. That's pretty cool. And then there's these special bosses. We got Yardu. We got Etrus the Lost. We've got Connor, the dog. Some mini bosses here. Kishinog, the Razor Fiend. Tom the Plagued. This giant. Then we got some of those merman bosses as well. And this is one of the bosses from the Clockwork guys. And there's a kind of a fallen angel over there. This seems like he belongs to the Orc faction. Here is the Tribunal, some kind of Dark Knight So a lot of, new characters here. There's a big ooze there. Then there's these agents from the first campaign as well. The hunter. It says here Inquisitor Alger. Okay, right. So kind of looks like the hunter. We got this avatar of Winter and of Shadow. Don Chad, who was a backer, who had this one created in his image. And some, NPCs, some characters that you can get, that you can meet during the games. These fathers. The torchbearer, Eve, who I hadn't seen before. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, wow, look at that. All this background information about, the Kraken. About all these monsters and these NPCs. Here, the big Cyclops giant. So really, really nice. Here is the big dragon, Hrimkeld, the ice dragon. And another one here is Urlach the Ancient. Oh, right. Very cool. Here's the World Eater. Reminds me of June with the spice worms. The Darkness. Some card art here. Some of the art that you will see on the various cards. That is pretty cool as well. The characters. The NPCs here. That's really nice. And here are all the extra campaigns that you can do, the modules. So we'll be looking into those as well. And here's some scale. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you got your heroes over here with these smaller orcs, and then the undead and everything just gets bigger and bigger. So that's pretty cool. And here are all the icons. So nice to have one page with all the icons to tell you what they all mean, because there's quite a lot in the game. And the traps and the lairs as well. And here was what was it again? The Koalator Taco, which was a joke that was going on during the campaign. So they even put that in here. That's pretty cool. All right, so that's the collector's edition book. Let's move on to the modules. So the box of modules, which is a very, very heavy box, but that is of course because it is filled with lots of paperwork basically. So we have all of these modules in here. So there's 8 of them, and they mostly have tiles and cards and stuff. So yeah, it's already been ripped, so I'm just gonna see if I can still save that. And that is, again, like all the Myth games really, a very, very thick cardboard box. I like that. I like that a lot because, it makes it very sturdy. So then we've got the books for all the different modules. So we got the Awakening of the Hurani. So let's see what that is about. It's got some tiles. So it's got the rat folk in here. So there you go. So this is a module that deals with the rats. It's pretty cool. And that is for basically Beyond Journeyman. So this is the difficulty really. So we get Novice, Journeyman. I think the third one was Master, and then something we don't know yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to leave a comment. So then we've got the Dark Under. So Dark Under, let's see what that deals with. So we got Thieves. Right, so yeah, we got the Thieves faction. The Streets of Farronrock. So basically this deals with, bad people. With a human faction that has all these Thieves Guild. So right, so that's the Dark Under. Then we got the 4 Pillars of Creation, which I assume deals with the elements, the elementals. So yep, we have those. So all of these have these nice booklets and an indication of how tough they are. The Fury of the Fireborn, which was already released, I think that was the first one, right after the base game. So that deals with the Fireborn, technically, so those guys. I haven't seen any minis of that yet. Oh, so this is also a Fireborn then. And demons and such. So I haven't seen miniatures of those. I'm not sure again if they were ever made at all. But yep, so we've seen those in the book as well, all those artwork. So the Golden Gear deals with those clockwork, those mechanical creatures, which is also pretty cool. So there you go, that's them. And yep, so that has several acts as well. The big guy over there, the professor, nice, you know, thematic tiles as well. So this is a level 2 as well, another level 2, the Lost Horde of Blackwall, which is from the Blackwall Warrens, deals with slimes. So there you go, lots of underground stuff and some rats as well. So we got these alligator kin and the slimes, I presume, too. There you go. So yep, we have those, lots of underground sewer maps. Then we have the Siege of Farronrock. Farronrock being, oh, that's 4 stars, so that's a very, very difficult one. Being, I think, the last bastion of humankind that is, you know, under siege of these demons and just basically everything that comes at them. These dragonkin. So that's pretty cool as well. So there's different tiles with different enemies everywhere. So they are being besieged. I think they basically threw in all the enemies in this one. It's kind of like the final showdown kind of thing. The old ones, so that's the underwater module where the merfolk you know, enter from this, they exit the sea and they enter the village. So there we go. There's all kinds of crab folk and merfolk. It's really nice. So we have those. Cool. Do we have the Kraken at the end? Haven't seen them in here, but you know. Okay, so we have those books. So that's all 8 of them. And then we got all the tiles. So basically this is just a huge stack of tiles. So I'm going to go through them very quickly. So we've got this in a city with some sewage on the streets. And on the other side, there's a tavern. The inside of a tavern. Pretty cool. More streets. And here's what looks to be a tomb. Here's another, oh, I think this is a bank. Yeah, this is a bank. There's the vault over there with the gold, and there's the ledger. And more streets here. Looks very similar to the first one. Is it the same? It actually is, yes. Yes, these are the same. Okay. Then there's a gambling house. There's money over here. There's a table. There's cards being played. There's a stairs leading down here with a trap door, so towards a cellar. So this might be a back room in one of the taverns. And we have another street scene here. Then we have these crystals for the elemental. So these are all apparently for the thieves campaign, and this is for the module with the elementals. We have several different sides here. So this is cool in the green colors, and this is the purple crystals. We have some snow areas here and some lava. Then we have a church here. So that's actually a double one, as you can see. So we have this, we have the pews over there, and on the other side there's something that looks like a temple or bathhouse maybe. There's water here. So the rest of the temple then, or the church. And this looks like a wizard's tower or something, you know. There's stairs here, there's books, there's several bookcases. The doors have been blown down. It looks like it's round, so like a tower. So that's pretty nice. Here are the more mechanical kind of looking areas for these clockwork enemies. And there's another side as well. More of that. And here's some kind of underground dungeon. A door here and a door there, light seeping in. And more of that. More of a kind of a classic dungeon feel. With some stairs leading up, stairs leading down. Here's what seems to be the edge of a fortress, which has a ladder here, and this is the outside area, and this is up on the ramparts, or what do you call them? So there's some spears here. There's another one. Oh, this is that mirrored? No, that's actually different. So you can line those up, maybe for the siege on Farron Rock, you know, so like that, where you have to defend the castle. Here is an outside area, just some grass with a beach. Here's what seems to be inside, or maybe it's a street, or inside the castle where stuff has fallen over. There's been a battle. And here's another tomb. 3 of these sarcophagi. And then there's more books here, so maybe this was a library. It's flooded in water. And here's another area that's flooded with water with some kind of well here. And then there's some smaller tiles finally. So we have these 2 tiles to connect the bigger ones. And here is an outside area as well. So that's lots of tiles. That was the reason this box was so heavy. And we got some more cardboard here for all these tiles, these tokens. So we have the rodent layers, and we got some tokens there. So all of this belongs to these 8 modules, and they were on the Kickstarter page. They were actually depicted as being separate boxes, so 1 module of each. But there was an all-in module package for all the modules as well, so they decided to just make 1 big box with all 8 of those included. So, you know, saved on packaging material. I think that was a good decision. I mean, you're going to want to have them all anyway. You know, being a completionist like myself, it's pretty cool to have all of these modules and all these stories that you can play in the Myth universe. Right, so those are all the layers and their tokens, and that's everything that fit really snugly and nicely into this box. So let's move on to the stretch goals. So here we got at least part of the stretch goals of the Journeyman campaign. So this is a box that includes the module for the Avatar Shadow, the Scourge of the Symbiote, and the Rot, and all printed stretch goal content. So all the miniatures and all the, you know, the sculpt stuff is still being produced in this time by Ulisses Spiele, and they will be you know, fulfilling the rest of the pledges. This also came from Ulysses. So I'm pretty grateful for Ulysses, buying the Myth IP and continuing the game. Otherwise, all of this would have never reached the backers, and they're doing a great job. And yeah, they have to deal with a lot of flack that basically was addressed to Megacon Games for handling the campaign so badly, or at least it led to their, their undoing. So, well, I can only say I'm thankful for Ulysses picking it up and, doing the best they can. So, inside we have some more of these tokens and layers for the symbiote, for the demons, the undead, and some of these, what were they? You can upgrade your character to becoming one of these. Here's the Eve token. So that's pretty nice. We got those. They're a bit bent, but they're tokens, so that is not that big of a problem. Then we have the story, the Avatar of Shadow, which is one of the first modules that you can play. It's got the novice difficulty. So that's the story. You can basically play with the base game if you have some of the extra miniatures, or you can proxy the miniatures basically, because these demons. Let me have a look. The unholy models and monster cards. So unholy is something we have yet to see. You can use the undead, if I'm reading this correctly. So yeah, well, we will see when all the stretch goals arrive what miniatures have been made and which we might still be missing. And you never know what we will find in the future. So we've got that. So here's another one of those modules, and another module book, which is in the Journeyman difficulty, which is about the symbiote. So we haven't seen those yet. So there's a whole module for them as well. And then there's the rot that deals with those kind of the infected, with those zombies more or less. And yep, we got some monsters as well. So there we go. Okay, so we have those. Some more tokens. So we have these tokens and lots of small ones. It's double-sided. And then we have the Tavern mode, which is a game mode you can play with the Tavern tiles from the first campaign. So there's that. And what else is in here? So basically, is this all about Tavern mode? It probably is, because it's one, big leaflet. And this is, of course, also included in the collector's edition book. And the rest of this box is cards. So we got plenty of cards here. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of these replace the ones in the base game. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a lot of cards. So I'm not going to go through all of these, but they are basically, the stretch goals that we got. We got some new cards. We got some replacement cards. So yeah, there's items here, there's treasure, there's these chained quest cards here, and these smaller cards here as well. So there's a whole lot of cards. So I'm not going to go through all of these, just to give you an impression of the amount of content that people got with their Journeyman pledge, or still need to get. But we'll get there, so be patient, and Ulysses will sort it out for you. And so that was my unboxing of these Myth expansions by Megacon Games. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Board Game Heaven.